here's Brody Brazil.
Welcome to perhaps the most predictable YouTube video that I will ever make, right? Because we all kind of saw this coming from the moment that the Utah Hockey Club announced there were some copyright issues with the Yeti cooler company. And even though that name was a favorite, was the front runner, it was off the board. It kind of instantly felt like Utah Mammoth was the new safe frontrunner. And then about a month or so ago, the team extended their trademark on the Utah Mammoth name, so it really felt like a finalist. And then about a week and a half ago, they overnight changed the name of their team's YouTube channel to Utah Mammoth. Everybody caught on to that one. They quickly erased it and then brought it back and changed the name to Hockey Club, but we were all pretty certain that this would eventually become official, and guess what? Now it has. No more speculations, no more rumors, no more concepts. It's right here in front of us. They are officially the Utah Mammoth. And it's kind of amazing that with all the concepts and ideas and renderings and visualizations, that everything we always saw actually kind of fell in line to what they decided on ultimately here, what they've finalized on. And I really like it. I think it's unique. I think it's the best they could do. I like how even in this logo, this main crest right here that's going to be on the front of their home sweaters, it's got the Wasatch Front as part of the mammoth head. It's also got the mammoth ear with kind of the state outline of Utah as part of it. Look, there's also kind of like an M on that state where the ear is. I should have busted out the telestrator for this. The tusks are also kind of shaped like a U. You're going to see that that's part of one of their secondary designs here. So they came out with the main logo, the font, the color scheme. I'm glad they actually stuck with the dark blue, light blue. It's actually black, rock black. I think we'll get to their official colors in a second. I think it's so cool that their initial colors, right, when they came from Arizona and decided on a temporary name and a temporary situation, they actually picked what would turn out to be their final colors here. That's pretty slick, right? It says it all. It's simple. I do feel like right now, this is a logo that's going to stand the test of time. And I say that as somebody who has grown up with the San Jose Sharks. Now, the Sharks logo, in fairness, it did change in the late 2000s. It really only modernized, though. It didn't completely get overhauled, or it's not a totally different thing. It just got updated from the early 90s to the late 2000s, before the 2010s. My point is that you can already kind of see that this logo is going to be classic enough, but modern enough to stand the test of time. And all the alternate jerseys and logos, I should say, and word marks here, I think that's kind of cool. The font they chose, the A with the kind of slanted up cross going across the A, same thing with the H. It's unique, right? You don't see this font everywhere. And when you see that, just the name Utah in that font, you're going to know it's for the Utah Mammoth. And again, I think it's important to represent your brand, but also to make merchandise. Like if there was a hat with that on it, or a shirt or a hoodie with that on it, and if you're from Utah and you're a fan of the Mammoth, I trained my brain to say Hockey Club all the time. And they could still kind of use that, right? Utah Mammoth, Utah Hockey Club with the Mammoth logo. They can kind of still incorporate that traditional part of their franchise. It was a one-off, a one-year thing, but it will always be part of how they landed in Salt Lake City. But again, they had to design something that most people would like, right? You'll never appeal to every single person, but I do think that the stick and the state, all this is going to be very popular. Again, I go back to the color scheme here, salt white, mountain blue, and rock black. I think it's so cool that they didn't have to change colors. Imagine if, and it all happened so fast, right? It was about a year ago this time that the Coyotes got in a forced sale to the league. The league turned around and sold it to Ryan and Ashley Smith. And so it goes from the Murillo family to the NHL to the Smith Entertainment Group. So they didn't have much time to hey, pick a name, pick some colors, figure out how your arena is going to be situated. The fact that they got to stick with the original colors, and honestly, the road jersey that says, Utah across the front, or actually goes this way. No, it goes up. We'll see it in a second. They kind of got to stick with the same road jersey the entire time. I love the fact that even for the draft last year, they got all of this stuff out before the draft so that when Iginla was their first overall pick, they got to put their brand new jersey on him. And it's kind of cool now this year that with the draft a month and a half, almost 2 months away, that they will have their official name and logo and brand new jersey that they will put on their, 4th overall pick. They got the 4th overall pick here in the summer of 2025. So the color scheme, again, I think merchandise is important as anything. I mean, yeah, this has to go on your jerseys. This has to be, a brand that people talk about, they're excited about, but they want to wear this stuff proudly. And I do think that the colors, which are not widely used, right? Black and that light blue, that baby blue. The only thing that this makes me think of is the Kansas City Royals, just a little bit. But that's a baseball team about 1,000 miles away from Salt Lake City to Kansas City, Missouri, right? So it's not something that's overdone, right? They didn't choose traditional colors. I like the fact that they didn't copy anything else. This feels original to them. How about the slogan, Tusks Up? Now, in San Jose, right, when the Sharks go on a power play, everybody does the chomp. So I'm wondering if what are they going to do, like Tusks Up like this? What is there something to it? Is there a physical motion that their fans can do to match Tusks Up? We'll see. But even that, there's a battle cry already that goes with Mammoth, right? So that's kind of cool. I realize people are going to bash the mammoth idea because that's an extinct animal, right? But it's also native to the state of Utah. There are some, historical ties. There is some significance there. So it's not like something that doesn't match. Okay, let's get to the sweaters. And once again, this is kind of rare, I think. I mean, I can't think of too many NHL teams over time that have had a home sweater and a road sweater with something different as the crest, right? So at home, they'll wear the dark jerseys with the Mammoth logo. And then on the road, they want to represent Utah. And I know Utah loves the fact that it's the Utah Jazz, it's the Utah Mammoth, and that $900 million that's sitting for the state of Utah if a Major League Baseball team comes, it's predicated on the fact that that baseball team won't call itself Salt Lake whatevers. They have to be called the Utah whatevers, right? So Utah is very big on getting their state name out there. So when they go play on the road, they'll have Utah right across the chest. Not a lot of teams have something different on the front of their jerseys from the home and road situations, but that is the case. That's what the Mammoth are going to do here. I'll give you a bigger and better look at the overall jerseys. I guess, now if I could be particular here, I like everything they've done. So I don't want to take away, I don't want to be a dark cloud over this. I just kind of wish, like the home jerseys, that's a lot of black, right? Top to bottom, from the bucket to the sweater, to the breezers, to the socks, and the mitts, everything is top to bottom black. What if they went with a baby blue bucket at home? Or would baby blue pants, breezers, would that be too much baby blue? Or excuse me, would it mountain blue? What was the official name? I just feel like there could be a little bit more pop in the home sweaters. The road ones I don't mind because it goes white, black, white, and there is some baby blue in there. Again, I just want to see a little bit more pop here. It feels almost too straightforward, a little bit too classic. I guess I'm somebody who likes just a little bit of pop in there. I don't know if the overall top to bottom jerseys have that, but again, I like pretty much everything they've done here. Okay, let's get to my takeaways. Number one, overall, I'm glad. I think it's so cool. They were able to keep that initial color scheme, and that way, if you still have Utah Hockey Club merchandise from the inaugural season, it'll always match. Imagine if it didn't match. Imagine if their colors, if they kept like Arizona colors, which I think would have been a bad look and feel for the first year, and then they switched. It would be the oddest thing to have fans still showing up in those old colored, pieces of merchandise. It wouldn't feel right. So I'm so glad they were able to keep the same color scheme. I am a Mammoth person, singular versus mammoths. You know why? Because it just does not roll off the tongue, plural. And as a broadcaster, somebody who has to say the team's name all the time, Utah Mammoth feels a lot easier than Utah Mammoths. Utah Mammoth. You say it yourself. Utah Mammoths. It's just another thing that has to go in there. And it's maybe because it's multiple syllables. Mammoths. Mammoths? Is that 2.5 syllables? It's not like Sharks. It wouldn't be the San Jose Shark. San Jose Sharks, right? It's simple. It's one kind of push through. Mammoths. It feels like you have to make that extra oomph at the end. Anyway, so I know people don't agree with me entirely on that, but that's how I feel. Singular, I'm glad they went with that instead of plural. I do feel like you can see it. There's a lot of thought and effort apparent in the logo and the design of things. I think what they came out with is really cool. There's not a lot of parts of it I don't like. And again, I think the best compliment I can give is that it will likely stand the test of time. Again, rare to see a jersey in the NHL have two different fronts, home versus road. I think that's very cool. It's unique. But lastly, we will never forgive and forget the Yeti Cooler Company. You should have just let the hockey club call themselves the Yeti, because I do feel like that there is going to be some kickback on this, the whole Mammoth thing, and it's not perfect. And I get it. It's like Yeti was the one that got away. And I don't see how the Yeti Cooler Company would have ever gotten confused. I don't feel like it would ever have been a conflict. I mean, come on. There's sports teams that are like the New York Rangers and the Texas Rangers. And there's a bunch of other examples about hockey team names and actual things they represent in real life, and there's no like complication there. You know, I mean, how about the Stanley, if we want to talk about drinkware, the Stanley cups that are very popular have become popular. You know, the ones that a lot of young people drink out of at their office location. Well, the real Stanley Cup is won by the hockey team who's the best of the season in the NHL. Best of the playoffs, I should say. So anyway, long story short, the Yeti Cooler Company seems a little bit stingy on all of that. And we'll always kind of have that bad feeling, like maybe they always should have been the Yeti. But I think Mammoth is more than fine. I think it's really good. And congratulations to that fan base on getting their brand new team name. All right, that's the end of this video. Thumbs up since you made it here to the end. That'll greatly help me, this video, this channel. Put some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with some of this? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? And also, if you would, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. That way I definitely get to see you back here next time.